All right, so here's my thoughts on the Snake Eyes thing. I'm gonna try to keep it positive and give them a chance that they could save this. So you got Henry Golding, who is British and Malaysian. You got Andrew Koji, who is Japanese and British. You got Iko Uwais, who's playing the Hard Master. You got Takamiro Hira, who's playing Kenta, a brand new original character. You got Haruki, I think her name is Haruki Abe, who's playing Akiko. You got Samara Weaving, who's been doing a lot. She's actually been really good. She was in Bill and Ted. She was also in that Wedding Night movie where they were trying to take her out. Great movie. I need to review that, actually. But she's playing Scarlet, and I've seen she's gotten in shape for it, too. And then you got Ursula Colorino, who's playing the Baroness. And there's others, but I think that's the mains. So, this is a G.I. Joe reboot, apparently. Because I was curious on why didn't they just use the kids from the first G.I. Joe, the one kid that's from Kickin' It and the other kid that's from Tropic Thunder, when they played Storm Shadow Snake Eyes, because they actually right now would be of age, because they would be in their 20s roughly to actually play these parts, and they could do it. But it looks like they're trying to go for something I guess just different. And I have a few grievances, but first I'm gonna talk about it. So I am a fan of Snake Eyes. He's actually a character that I really love. During a lot of stuff, I've had a few Snake Eyes toys, still have them. Gas has gone down finally. Whew. Get some of that soon. There is a Snake Eyes statue that I see at GameStop that I actually want to get my hands on. That one's cool, but I want the black suit Snake Eyes. The one I had on my toy, that was like my favorite. So I'm seeing some stuff about Kenta. I saw a picture of him, which I think is the same actor that might be playing like a bad guy, but he's like unknown. Because when I saw it, I was like, Kenta? Who's Kenta? And then there's like a mystery character, and Akiko is another. I guess she's going to be just probably a love interest that's going to die or something. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay. First off, the action looked crisp, but it looked like a generic ninja movie. Like, if you took Snake Eyes out, and even my boy, when he asked me what I thought, I was like, well, one of my problems is it looks very generic. And not even in the negative sense, in the sense that until you see the Snake Eyes mask, if I just showed it to you, you wouldn't even know it was Snake Eyes. He doesn't look like himself, because Snake Eyes is a Caucasian guy. In the comics, blonde hair, blue-eyed. In the movie, he had brown hair, like he's an American. And one of the big issues between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes is the fact that Snake Eyes is a gaijin. And yet I think it was the Hard Master, like, was all about Snake Eyes in the end. Now, this guy, Henry, is Asian. I don't say like Ippon, but when I looked it over as a overall, he's considered Malaysian. Which is I know under Chinese thing, if I remember correctly, it's like a lower form of China, because like southern China. They speak like Chinese, Malay, or Malaya in like an English. If I'm remembering correctly, please forgive me if I messed up somewhere. I'm just trying to remember the culture from what I understand. Now, this actor is, I think he was on Crazy Rich Asians. He's half British, half Malaysian. His father was British. So, how they could still possibly save the storyline. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people, even when I was in Japan, you can see it, Japanese people do not get along very well with Chinese people. And him being Malaysian versus and joining a ninja clan, and how they're saying they need his help and stuff, they could still play up that Storm Shadow issue. Like, yo, this dude is Chinese. Why are you giving him props, Hard Master? Now, the Blind Master, which last time was played, if I remember correctly, was played by RZA. Or maybe he might have played Hard Master. I don't know. But when I'm hearing about this Kenta, and I'm assuming that Storm Shadow may start to become a villain, from what I can tell, maybe he's not a villain right away, but you can tell it's Storm Shadow because he's wearing the white, even though Storm Shadow as a character is constantly in these movies, seems to be out of his ninja gi, which I don't understand why, since Storm Shadow most of the time wears his ninja gi. But I digress. You can usually tell who Storm Shadow is because of the white, where it looks like Snake Eyes is wearing a lot of his black. Now, I was waiting and I heard it, and Snake Eyes was speaking. He sounds like the British part of him is, is coming out. But because this is the beginning, like, I know some people are going to be like, he ruined it, they ruined it. I'm trying to be positive. Snake Eyes is speaking, I'm going to assume, because this is how he first joined the clan and everything. And probably by the end of the film, he's probably going to either get the shot to the throat, or they're going to do the thing where he has the accident or whatever from the Hard Master. They're going to, Storm Shadow tries to set him up, especially when you see Baroness there. I don't know if Baroness is going to be the one. It looks like they're also focusing on how Storm Shadow met Scarlet and why Storm Shadow and Scarlet is very close. And oddly enough, I've come to find out, talking through my friend about this, I know more about G.I. Joe than I thought. Like, I knew people's, like, rankings and stuff, which is why, for as much as I enjoyed the second G.I. Joe movie, I still had an issue with Roadblock being the main character, being the leader, because that's not Roadblock's position, especially when Flint is there. Just saying. You had Flint. You killed off Duke. Okay, I understand that. You got Flint. Why wasn't Flint running the group? I digress again. I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, I do not hate that movie, though. I actually like the movie. But with this one, it's going to show Scarlet. So I'm assuming maybe if they get to do more, they'll be able to do Duke or show Duke's story. It's smart of them to go with Snake Eyes, because Snake Eyes is the most popular character in G.I. Joe. Right up there, it's like Scarlet, Duke, Lady J. I would really like to see how they would do Lady J with this, especially if they gave her javelins. There's a few other characters that they could play up and do. Like, Scarlet was always awesome, and don't get me wrong, but for some reason, I just like Lady J throwing the javelins constantly. I just thought that was really, really cool. And the action, like I said, from what I saw, looked crisp, but you could, until the end of that trailer, you could have taken everything out of, like, you would have known it was G.I. Joe. When I watched it, if I didn't know, I'd have been like, oh, this looks like an interesting ninja movie with military stuff in it. And, yeah. So, that to me is a problem. So far, it depends. It looked like Storm Shadow. I guess that was Storm Shadow. That was kind of cool. I don't really know with him. I don't know. I know they're talking about the clan, and now the clan were like, good people, which they are. But it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, they could still play it up. A huge rivalry between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes is because Snake Eyes is not Japanese. It's a racial thing. Now, I've already seen that a couple people were PO because they're like politics. I already had my flip out video. So I think last year was one of my first like 50 videos I think I ever did about that. So I'm gonna try to be positive. I'm gonna try not to let the rage take over. I'm gonna try to give him a chance, because there is a chance that this could be saved. I would like to see how they would do CoverGirl. I know she was in one of the movies, and they changed her. They made her a weapons expert, when actually, the reason why I thought CoverGirl was always cool is because she's a tank expert, but they made her a special weapons expert in the movie. I don't know why. She's a tank expert. I kind of like that. That made her unique. But it all depends on how they pull this off. Like, is there potential if they keep that rivalry between them and it's a whole thing and they really play it up like, dude, you are Chinese or you are Malaysian, like, we don't deal with you. I think that would work, because it still would be that dichotomy, and it would make it feel very real world. Now, there's also just ways they can play this up. If this goes over well, we may have a resurgence in G.I. Joe. Now, I think G.I. Joe, even though the cartoon show worked great with showing characters, you know, like Shipwreck, Wild Bill, Beachhead, like I said, Cover Girl, Lady J, and so many other characters, Roadblock, Ripcord, Rat Trap, list goes on and on. Why are they making some new character named Kenta? You couldn't use like Slice and Dice? That would be cool. Maybe have him go up against Zartan or Zartan. So I'm not really happy about the fact that they're making a brand new character or two for the movie. I don't feel like it's necessary when there's so many G.I. Joe characters, especially when it comes to the Ninja Force. They have a few they could go. Slice and Dice are always like some of my favorites, but there's a few others they could have did and kind of built them up. So, like I said, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to hope that they utilize the fact that he is a foreigner in that country and those real world racial issues to bring light to the situation between Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, because they both have a huge amount of respect for each other. But it was when, I think it was Hardmaster, when he put Snake Eyes ahead, and he taught him like a couple techniques that Storm Shadow didn't learn. That's why usually in the end, Storm Shadow would always lose when they would have their big battle. Just watch G.I. Joe Resolute, for example. Now, in the comics, some of the story later, Storm Shadow actually does join the G.I. Joe, and I think he cuts the what's-names on his arms. But the reason being is because it became like an honor thing and stuff like that. Like, Storm Shadow is actually not a horrible person. He's just kind of, the way they play him up is that he's misguided. And once he understands why the Hardmaster went with Snake Eyes, why the things were, he actually changed himself, repented, did stuff like that. Now, if they're going to start doing G.I. Joe, I think they should play up the Cobra thing. But to me, when it comes to comics and a lot of stories, G.I. Joe always works its best when they're like a small group of like individuals, like G.I. Joe Renegades. I always just thought that kind of worked better. So you get a nice group of like people. You get a nice, like, you know, I would say like 7-8 people. But you have them like do their thing. Even if you do like 6. Whatever it is, the reason why I say 8 is because 3 of those slots would be automatically taken up between Snake Eyes, Duke, and Scarlet. Right there. So if you got 8, you got 5 more slots to fill. And you can work a lot of people. Like I said, you could do Shipwrecks, you know, Roadblock, stuff like that. And then the trick that you do is, throughout the films, you can introduce and interchange as needed, or have the group to grow to go up against Cobra and have the big battle in the 3rd film. Or you can keep them small like Snake Eyes and kind of work that way out. So, like I said, the problem is it didn't feel like a G.I. Joe thing. It looked kind of like a generic ninja movie. Like, I was like, oh, this is a cool ninja movie. And until they showed the end with the Snake Eyes with the visor, which is one of his looks, but it's like his most notable look is the visor. It's like, okay. Now I see that it's G.I. Joe. You see the Baroness, you see Scarlet, but I mean, they could have been anybody. Like, nothing in this really shouted G.I. Joe to me. But depending on how they play it up, it could work. Still not happy because they should have just went with a Caucasian man. I don't know. Like, I remember that big complaint with Iron Fist. They were like, he needed to be Asian. He should have been Asian. I'm like, no, that's the Danny Rand story. Like, I'm tired of every time there's Asian influence, people immediately go, well, you can't have a white guy do it. Like, no, that's part of the story. You're not going to change, I think it's Yusuke, which is the black samurai. You're not going to change that story. So, no, it does happen. So, we'll see how this actually pans out. I will watch the second trailer. I'm probably not going to react to it or talk about it. that'll usually, after about the second trailer, I'll know where I stand with the movie. I'm probably still going to check it out because it's G.I. Joe and I want to still give it a shot. I can see the positives, but I can easily see this thing going negative. So you guys tell me what you think about the G.I. Joe trailer. This is the Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real, and I'll see ya.